Weird Way Media.
Hello, twisted humans. Do you find yourself wanting to know more about the latest murder, conspiracy, cult, or haunting?
Then this is the podcast for you. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Sierra, and this is Twisted and Uncorked. Hello and welcome to episode 146. Today we are covering my special topic case of healthcare crimes. I am so excited to share my story with you today because it is one of those cases that has stuck with me from the very beginning, since I first learned about it way back in 2018 or so. It's an all-around weird case from beginning to end, and it makes it even more exciting to share today since we have a special guest. Alicia, do you want to introduce our special guest?
Yes, we have Kaydra from Perplexity, a mystery podcast with us today. Maybe you've seen her.
What's up, everybody?
That's the most awkward intro ever. I'm like, look at her. This is great for audio.
I'm happy to be here.
Good. We're so happy to have you. And thank you for choosing this special topic. I went a spooky route, so you'll hear it before when it's out. But I'm curious to know what Sierra did here because she has a knack for finding stories that no one has ever heard that hurt your head and your soul. So
I love it when people find something I haven't heard. So I'm looking.
I hope you haven't heard this.
I hope so too. But even if I have, I'll still love it. So
before we get started, we like to bring fun facts to our listeners. Kaydra, what is your fun fact today?
Oh, yes. I put it in a note on my phone. So my fun fact is that multitasking is actually impossible. When we're multitasking, we're actually alternating our attention, just switching our attention back and forth between different tasks rather than doing them at the same time, which is known as divided attention. And turns out multitasking is really bad for your brain. So I think it's a fun fact because now we have an excuse to take less on at once.
To procrastinate.
I love that part, but now I'm scared because I feel like I'm just permanently in a state of multitasking. So
I know.
How is it bad for my brain?
Yeah, it said research shows your error rate goes up 50%, and it actually can take up to twice as long to do things.
You know what's crazy? I don't know why,
that makes sense.
I do this thing where when I go to brush my teeth, I'm like, I can do anything else while I'm brushing my teeth, right? So I'll be brushing my teeth and then I start to put on my socks and I stop brushing my teeth because I need my hands. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, why
I do that all the time.
Why do I try?
I think it's for me, I think it's an anxiety thing because I'm like, oh, this will be faster and more productive.
Yeah.
Think of all the stuff that
faster.
It never is. It's not like I can brush my teeth without my hand. Like, why am I doing this?
My fun fact is about miniature elephants.
Oh gosh.
Okay. Oh gosh, me. Everyone knows that
always elephants.
With elephants. But miniature elephants used to live around to the Mediterranean Sea. The discovery of their fossilized skulls in antiquity may have given birth to the myth of the Cyclops, because the skeletons just have a hole where the trunk would be, and then it's small enough that it almost resembles a smaller creature. But now, because of different DNA testing, they were able to realize what it actually is. But back then, that's what people thought it was.
That's actually really cool.
And I'm really upset that baby elephants don't still exist, but that's a separate problem.
I was going to say, I was like, is this something that I should know about? And I don't know.
How do I get one?
Yeah.
What is your fun fact?
My fun fact is also about animals, sort of. It's about owls.
Ooh.
But it's actually about the legend of owls. According to Welsh legend, an owl hooting is a sign that a local woman has just lost her virginity. So that's fun.
Owls are my favorite animal, so
love that.
I don't know how I didn't know that.
So next time you hear an owl hoot, you're just going to be like, good for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good for you.
Get it, girl.
How does that even? Yeah, no,
I don't know.
Is it because they see so much? They're just like all knowing.
They're like, ooh, ooh.
They're actually just imitating the sounds, you know?
Oh no. Oh gosh.
Owls
Okay.
actually don't make any noise at all. That's just. I am super jealous of Kaydra's glass of wine, for those of you that might be watching this on YouTube. So, because we are still recording in February, we are not actually going to be drinking this week's sangria recipe, but I did promise you guys a white wine sangria recipe. So, it is a peaches and cream sangria, and it involves whipped cream vodka or vanilla vodka, or you can do half and half. 3 ripe peaches, 3 ounces of simple syrup, 25 fresh mint leaves, a bottle of white wine of choice. They recommended a Moscato because it's of the sweeter, fruity undertones. And yeah, you just enjoy that business.
Sounds delicious.
We'll enjoy it on the re-listen when this
Yes.
episode airs.
There we go.
Exactly. But what kind of wine are you drinking, Kaydra?
Oh gosh. Yeah, I know it's like a Cabernet, but I didn't buy the bottle. I want to say it's called Whiplash, but I could be wrong.
Ooh,
It had
that's
a
fun.
big horse on the front.
That does sound fun.
And it's actually, yeah, it's pretty good. Yeah, it's called Whiplash Cabernet Sauvignon, and it was like $10, and it's
Perfect.
delicious.
Before we get started on this twisty tale, we are going to take a moment to hear a promo from Kaydra's amazing podcast. I will be telling you about a neurosurgeon named Dr. Shepard,
Ooh.
but it's
Not the
not the
McDreamy version.
neurosurgeon. Don't take my words. It is not the neurosurgeon Dr. Shepard you may be thinking of. This is actually one of the many reasons why this case sticks with me, because of the shared name and occupation with Shonda Rhimes' character, Dr. Derek Shepard, on Grey's Anatomy. We are not talking about McDreamy today. We are talking about Dr. Sam Shepard of Ohio. Ohio, birthplace of me. Another reason why this case sticks with me. Samuel Holmes Shepard was born on December 29th, 1923, in Cleveland as the youngest of 3 sons to Doctor of Osteopathic Medicine Richard Allen Shepard. On July 4th, 1954, at 5:40 a.m., Sam Shepard called his neighbor, Spencer, frantic. On the line, Sam said something like, "My God, Spence, get over here quick. I think they killed Marilyn." Marilyn Shepard was Sam's wife of 9 years. They met in high school, where they both attended Cleveland Heights High way back in the late 1930s. Sam always knew he'd be a doctor, just like his father and his 2 older brothers, but he still had a sports-filled childhood. He played football, basketball, and ran track, all while maintaining excellent grades and being class president for 3 years in a row. After high school, he attended med school in Indiana, then in Cleveland, and finally in California, where he and Marilyn got married on February 21st, 1945, exactly 79 years ago today as we are recording this.
That's
Oh,
crazy.
crazy.
Marilyn Reese was born in Cleveland on April 14th, 1923. Sam was her high school sweetheart, but when he went off to college, so did she. She attended college in New York while he was away in California, but they made it work well enough that they married and moved back home together, where Sam started practicing medicine at the family-operated hospital. According to Marilyn's obituary, they purchased a home on a high cliff overlooking Lake Erie in a sub-elite suburb of Cleveland, and Marilyn took to becoming the homemaker for the family. They had a seemingly lovely life of golf, water skiing, and parties. Marilyn taught Bible classes at their Methodist church and eventually had their first son, to whom she was a wonderful mother.
Aw.
But back to the crime.
I was gonna say I don't want to like him, but I feel like I can't trust it yet.
Mhm.
Sam called his neighbors, but living in such a wealthy area, they weren't like walking distance neighbors. So they drove over to his home after the
As you
phone
do.
call. When they arrived, they found Sam with no shirt on, blood splattered on his pants, sitting seemingly in pain, holding his neck and back. Marilyn was indeed dead, bludgeoned to death, with their 7-year-old son still asleep in his room. The police were on their way. Initial interviews with Sam were weird. He did voluntarily mention marital problems between him and his wife. Sam had affairs or flings with women in the past, but it didn't cause Marilyn to want a divorce. Allegedly. It was the 50s. She was a churchgoer, and divorce wasn't something you did.
Yeah.
They planned to work on their marriage and fix the issues. If not for the love they once shared, then for the baby that was on the way.
There it
Because
is.
Marilyn
The plot
was pregnant when she was killed.
There it is. That's what I
No.
was waiting for. I was like, there's got to be another reason here.
When police asked Sam what had transpired before the phone call to the neighbors, he didn't have a lot of details. He said that the two of them had a couple of friends over the night before. I'm sorry, had couple friends, as in a man and woman who were a couple.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wait.
Yes.
I was like, wait, hold on.
Couple
What's
friends.
happening here? These are our couple friends.
The four of them had dinner and drinks and watched a movie that Sam must have fallen asleep during. Then the couple went home at about midnight. Marilyn went to sleep in their bedroom, and Sam stayed where he had already dozed off on the daybed. The friends confirmed this. Sometime in the early morning hours, Sam woke up to what he thought was his wife, Marilyn, calling out his name. But when he opened his eyes and went to the bedroom, he saw a quote unquote white biped form with bushy hair and got into a scuffle with it.
Oh, shit.
Sorry, what?
Wait, did we just go into alien mode? What's happening
Is he
here?
fighting a nightcrawler?
Sierra! What is this?
Hang on, let me finish my sentence.
Fighting a nightcrawler.
Okay.
Yeah, right.
At some point, the fight must have led outside, but Sam blacked out or was knocked unconscious and woke up outside by the lake. And this is another reason why this story sticks with me. Because
Weird.
does anyone else feel like this description sounds like a Yeti attacked them? Right?
Yeah.
Like we were
a
attacked
cryptid
in
of sorts.
Cleveland by a Yeti. What is happening?
Yeah, so wait, he said a white bipedal bushy
Form
eyebrow
with bushy hair.
Okay.
A white, he didn't say bipedal, he said biped, but
Oh.
we know what he meant.
Right.
His literal quote was white biped form. And then later he would say with bushy hair.
Huh.
But
Okay.
why?
So, no one else ever brings up that this might be a Yeti. This is just, a thing. But as we learn, Marilyn was bludgeoned to death with an unknown blunt object. At one point, the police try to make some medical equipment kept in the house work as the murder weapon, but it never fully lines up. They have no idea what made these impressions. So I'm like, my brain was an angry Yeti fist, the murder weapon, right? Like, I mean, probably not, but this
And
is
this is
where
the
my
50s?
brain
Could be.
goes.
This
This
is
is
the
the
50s.
50s.
Okay.
Weird ideas, this mysterious place that is my brain. Funnily enough, when Sam gets a lawyer right away, which he does, the lawyer makes note of the fact that by white biped form, he definitely meant a white person.
Okay.
He's not crazy. He's like, just so everyone knows, he meant a white guy. Like,
But who words
to
it
me-
like that?
to me, it felt more like backpedaling, like, oh shit, you just fucked up. They're going to think you're crazy. Let's say it was a white guy. Right? I don't know.
Yeah, but I mean,
no
like,
one ever brings it up again.
but if he's guilty, I feel like that would be the easiest out for him is to look like he's insane. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's kind of weird for
Right.
him to just like backpedal and be like, oh, that's what I meant. I mean, obviously, we don't know what they said in the interview, but very weird way to word that if you're actually
Yeah,
talking about a
just saying
human
a white guy.
being. Yeah, I feel like if someone was attacking you, you would try to give every possible description to help the case, you know,
Yeah.
if you're like legitimately a victim in this. So yeah, it's just strange.
It is
Agreed.
strange. All right. So, hearing of the infidelity, police pretty quickly assumed that Sam is the person who killed Marilyn. Duh. He called his neighbors to help discover the body because that's what people who want to be thought of as innocent do. Not because he didn't want to look at the abused body of his wife. He was badly hurt in the incident and actually had to go to the hospital to be treated and was even in a wheelchair for a bit after this.
Did
But
they say what his injuries were?
yeah, he had a concussion and he was hit in the back of the neck. That
Oh,
when he was holding his back and neck, it was like this kind of posture, and it was a spinal injury basically.
Okay.
But he got better. He got better. They believed that he did this to himself. He's a doctor. He would know how to cause harm to himself without it being life-threatening. There were valuables missing from the house, but those things were found in a bag out in the woods that were on the property. So the police believed that Sam hid them out there himself, hoping the police wouldn't find them and would think that it was a robbery gone wrong, not that the perpetrator maybe took them and ditched them when running because Sam put up hell of a fight. Sam was guilty in the eyes of the law and the eyes of the press, especially after his lawyer told him not to talk to the police and not to submit to a polygraph. In addition to the things I've already mentioned, the evidence used against Sam was that there was no sign of forced entry into the home, although the friends who were there that night said that they didn't know if the door was locked behind them, so maybe it was just an unlocked door. Also, they had a basement access that was really easy to get into.
all
But
right.
those are
So
just,
they
side notes.
clearly don't listen to true crime because that's not
I
safe.
mean, it's the 50s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
fair enough. Fair enough.
Sam's shirt was missing, and police said he probably got rid of the bloodstained thing before he called his neighbors, right? Though eventually a shirt that was his size was found near the property without bloodstains, but like it's his property. It could be
Super-
any shirt. Nobody knows.
Who did you say? Okay,
Um,
this is weird. This man
This
is
is so
strange.
weird. I'm like so confused right now.
There's Yetis. We're ditching our shirts on the property for no reason. Or
it's a mess of a story.
where's the
Okay,
owl? Just saying.
where's
Oh,
the owl?
Are
No.
we going to get into an owl theory?
They had a dog that Sam said he did not hear bark that night. And police were like, okay, well, if it was an intruder, your dog would have barked. So it must not have been an intruder. But also, like, why would he willingly admit that? I don't know. Anyway,
Right.
Is he stupid?
there
Question
was
mark?
blood found on Sam's watch, which was in the bag of things that were stolen or disposed of. But the experts said that it was not spatter blood, it was just transfer blood. And Sam says that must have gotten on the watch when he first went to the bedroom and found the bushy-haired attacker. And then there were no fingerprints in the entire house except for Sam's and Marilyn's in the room, in all of the areas where they took fingerprints from. So they're like, yeah, you're the only one who could have done this.
Leave fingerprints.
I don't know.
Well, I'm also like, they had blood spatter experts in the 50s.
I mean, they weren't good ones.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel
Was
like
that
that's
just a
I feel like
title
this
that
is
somebody
loose,
gave them?
Right.
Yeah, I feel like this is loose forensics at best, you know?
Oh yeah, let me tell you, there was blood everywhere, but they didn't do DNA back then. They did blood type.
Right.
And him and Marilyn had the same blood type. So you couldn't really compare.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh no. Yeah. Damn. And so did it say anything about if they found any other blood type at the scene, or it was just their
Those two.
blood types and that's it?
Okay, we'll get to it.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I put it in here. At the time, they were thinking it was just theirs, but it was a shoddy investigation. Okay.
Shocker.
So,
Wow.
yeah.
John, the blood spatter expert.
Sam Shepard was arrested and taken to trial for the murder of his wife. The trial was like a circus. The jury admitted to hearing all kinds of things about Sam in the media, even things that were never proven to be true. But the judge over the case said that it's just a part of free speech and it's fine if the jury heard those things.
Oh my God.
Members of the jury were not kept secret. Their names and photos were published in the newspaper and on TV.
What Mickey Mouse organization is this?
They were allowed Ohio.
The
They were
birthplace
allowed-
of you.
They were allowed unsupervised phone calls with friends and family during the trial. Everything was completely wrong. And this was a trial for a man who was literally facing the death penalty
That's
at the
not
time.
cool. Yeah.
So after the trial, the jury deliberated for 5 days. For a long time, there was a 50-50 split, some thinking he was guilty and the others innocent. In the end, though, they came to an agreement. Sam Shepard was found guilty of second-degree murder, not first, and sentenced to life in prison instead of death. But this is not where the story ends. Defense asks for a new trial because the chaos and irregularities in the first trial, especially regarding the jurors, but the judge denies this request. While in prison, continuing to claim his innocence, and still in pain, Sam Shepard's mother completed suicide. Just 11 days later, Sam Shepard's father dies of stomach cancer. Sam is allowed to attend his father's funeral, his parents' funerals, but he is shackled the whole time.
Oh my God.
When he returns to prison, depressed and still in literal physical pain, he copes in the only way he can in prison with painkillers and prison-made alcohol. He is transferred from prison to prison for nearly 10 years, with continuing requests for new trials being denied over and over again. While in prison, his lawyer, who was also his best friend, died. His late wife's father completed suicide. And his old window washer, Richard Eberling, was arrested for larceny, in which police discovered some of Marilyn's jewelry.
Oh.
The window washer was investigated briefly about the murder of Marilyn Shepard. During the investigation, police lied to the man, saying they found his blood at the scene of the crime, just to see what his reply would be.
They're allowed to do that.
Mm-hmm. And instead of denying it, he told them, "Oh, I cut my hand on a window a few days before the murder. That's why my blood is there." This window washer would also have had access to the basement entrance and would have known the dog well enough to not been barked at. He was bald, not bushy-haired, but was known to wear wigs and toupees on occasion.
Fantastic.
Tacky.
It seemed that this may have been a good other suspect for the crime, but he agreed to take a polygraph and passed it. So the police, believing in polygraphs at the time, let him go and considered it coincidence.
Stop.
I would never be able to pass a polygraph test. I am permanently sweaty and anxious and nervous. Are you kidding me?
Listen,
Talking to a member of authority would be like, deceit.
I don't remember where I heard it, but I heard if you just clench your butt cheeks, your body pulses in a way that makes you not lie, basically.
That's what I was about to say. Yeah. I think
so that's the key. Just if ever I have to be polygraphed, butt cheeks. All right.
Clench them. Because you're like focused on something else.
It comes out inconclusive.
Nothing like inconclusive butt clenching. All right.
So in July of 1964, the district court finally looked into the trial of Sam Shepard and called it a mockery of justice. They said
Agreed.
it violated his right to a fair trial, and he needed to be released immediately. And the police would need to come up with new charges to retry him within 60 days. So Sam got out. He got married to a pen pal that he began writing to while he was in prison, and he prepared for new charges to be brought against him. And they were. So he was in prison for almost 10 years.
Wow.
In 1966, a year later, Sam goes to trial for the murder of his wife again. All the same evidence was used against him, but the press was limited. The jurors were watched over more closely. In this trial, the jury deliberated for less than 1 day, and he was found not guilty.
Oh.
But many people believe that the reason for this outcome was the same reason for the first outcome: the media. In the first trial, he was found guilty after people saw all over the news and the papers that he should be seen as a guilty man. He was a doctor that people were supposed to trust, and he had killed his wife. This time, there was no media about him specifically, but a movie had just come out that was loosely based on his story. A fictional movie called The Fugitive, where a doctor is wrongfully accused of murdering his wife and was innocent the whole time. Maybe with that movie fresh in the minds of the jury, they wanted to give this doctor leniency, the way the doctor in the movie deserved to have it. So, like, who fucking knows? Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, that's loose at best. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not convinced that a movie would have swayed a jury to make that decision. But
Yeah.
again, what the fuck do I know?
Literally,
You know?
I'm pretty sure the doctor in the movie is named Dr. Shepard.
But there's the new information
So, like,
of,
the
window washer.
That
So
wasn't in the trial.
Oh.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay.
Because the police believed him. Okay, bye.
Right.
That was not brought
We
up.
just don't believe him. Right. All right.
Either way, Sam was free from the prison, but not free from his vices and habits that he picked up along the way. He was still drinking heavily and still relying on painkillers, and it was catching up to him in a really bad way. His new wife divorced him after a very short marriage, claiming that he became angry and nearly abusive when he was drinking.
Oh.
He got his medical license back, but drank while working and killed at least 2 patients while operating on them in surgery due to mistakes that someone with his knowledge should have known how to avoid.
Stop.
Oh, okay.
He was sued for malpractice because of these things and decided to quit medicine, instead opting to go into professional wrestling.
Pardon me?
I told you the story has everything.
Natural career move. Absolutely. Totally
What
makes
in the
sense.
world?
He eventually married his wrestling trainer's daughter, who was 20 years old
Ew.
while he was 45.
Yeah,
Oh.
ew.
When he wrestled, he wore a doctor garb, like stethoscope and stuff, and his wrestler name was The Killer.
Oh, that's in poor taste, sir. If you are innocent, in poor taste. If you
And he-
are guilty, yeah, now you're just waving it around in people's faces.
And he used his medical knowledge to gain submission holds on his opponents. So, like, he knew where the pressure points were and was like, oh, let me do this. You know?
That's disturbing.
Yes. He wrestled for about 2 years in 40 matches until Sam Shepard drank himself to death in 1970.
Okay.
He died of liver failure. And I practiced this word. Hang on. Liver failure and Wernicke encephalopathy.
Oh, Wernicke's encephalopathy.
That. Thank you.
I got you.
It is
I've treated that.
Oh, nice. Okay. It's a type of brain damage caused by alcoholism.
Mhm.
The neurosurgeon died of brain damage.
That's insane.
But his story still does not end here. Because while Sam was in prison, a woman named Myrtle Irene Frey was beaten to death. Her murder was never solved, but coincidentally, She was the sister of Richard Eberling's employer. Richard Eberling being Shepard's window washer. His quote-unquote employer was Ethel May Durkin, who had hired him to do some decorating and became very good friends with Richard. Ethel's other sister, Sarah Belfaro, also died suspiciously in 1970, allegedly from a fall down the stairs while living with Ethel, who had Richard over all the time. Ethel, now an elderly woman with no siblings left to help care for her, took this opportunity, began allowing her dear friend Richard to help care for her a bit. He took this opportunity to forge documents, allowing him to care for her financially as well, as in with her money, not his.
Yeah.
In November of 1983, Ethel was found face down on the hardwood floor by paramedics who were called when Richard said he assumed she had fallen over from a heart attack. They, however, believed that the position of her quote-unquote fall and her injuries showed that she had been attacked. Her neck bone had been broken in the same place where Marilyn's had been broken.
Uh-huh.
But Ethel survived this fall at least for a few months until January 1984 when she succumbed to her injuries. Ethel's will was forged to leave nearly everything to Richard.
What the fuck?
But also to be buried in her mink coat and jewelry. Before the funeral, Richard stole the mink coat and jewelry off of her dead body.
Bro, come on. He's not even trying to hide it.
No, he's cocky now. The person who had
It's a
helped
dick
him
move to
forge the
steal
will.
from a dead person that you killed, probably.
Yeah, what was her name? Myrtle? Ethel?
Myrtle, and then Sarah, and then Ethel have all been killed in this family.
Well, Ethel just wanted to die in her mink coat.
Right?
Let the lady look her best in the ground. God damn it.
The person who had helped forge the will eventually turned on Richard and told the police, who investigated and finally linked everything together. Richard was charged with murdering Ethel in 1988, and in investigating him, they also found 2 other suspicious deaths. Richard was caring for his father back in 1946 when he died of a stroke. It was later discovered that his father had ingested poison before the stroke. Also, in 1956, right after Marilyn's murder, Richard started dating Barbara Kinzel, who happened to be Sam Shepard's nurse who treated his injuries. Barbara believed Sam to be innocent and would have testified that his injuries were not plausibly self-inflicted if she hadn't died before a second trial. She died allegedly in a terrible car accident in 1956 when Richard was driving them. He had just minor cuts and bruises, but she was dead in the car. He told the police who came to the scene of the accident that she had hit the windshield of the car. It was classified as an accident at the time, though there was no internal bleeding on her body. Later, she was exhumed, and it was determined that she had a broken neck in the same spot where Marilyn and Ethel's necks were broken.
Stop it.
Richard died in prison in 1998. He had confessed and then recanted many times to many different people, killing all of these people, including Marilyn Shepard. But no additional charges were ever brought up on Richard Eberling. Sam and Marilyn's son sought out a declaration of innocence for his late father. He may not be alive, but he didn't want the stain on his father's name. DNA evidence, such as blood, was retested with new scientific discoveries.
Okay.
Sam Shepard and Marilyn Shepard's bodies were both exhumed for more DNA testing.
Oh, good.
Wow.
The son, also named Sam, by the way,
Aww.
which is why I just kept calling him the son, went to trial in defense of his father, trying to prove him innocent, not just not guilty. And he made a damning case, but the court eventually dropped it because Sam Shepard is deceased, and now so is Eberling. No one can be tried, no one's lives can be changed after death, and so it all just goes away. But Sam was able to prove that his father's DNA was not at the scene of that crime. So he at least has the power of knowing his father was innocent of killing his mother, even if the courts never officially declare it.
Wow.
Sam Reese Shepherd is now an anti-death penalty activist and a writer living in Oakland, California. And that is Sam Shepherd. The two Sam Shepherds, I suppose.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
What a story.
Where do you find
Right?
these things, Sierra?
I don't remember where I heard this one. I heard it forever ago in 2018. And when I first started listening to podcasts, so I guess on one of the early podcasts I ever listened to, maybe Moms and Murder or Moms and Mysteries now, or My Favorite Murder, or, you know, something from forever ago. And
Yeah.
I never
One of
forgot
those
it.
lovely podcasts that paved the way for the rest of us weirdos.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
crazy.
I mean, technically, we still don't know who did it. Marilyn
Yeah.
Shepherd's case is officially unsolved.
Hmm.
But
I'm more inclined now to fully believe that it was the window washer, and I'm just going to refer to him as that because he sucks.
Right.
Even if he didn't kill Marilyn.
yeah, he killed
100%.
enough people.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I mean the whole wrestling killer name. Like I said, if you're innocent, that's in really bad taste. But it also could be like a fuck you. Like if you think I'm a killer, fine, I'm going to lean into it. I'm hurting anyway. I'm already abusing drugs.
Yeah, he
Yeah,
was clearly depressed after his wife died. Like for the
Yeah.
rest of his life, he was just in a state of, okay, I'm going to die and I know it. Like, let me just slowly die.
And it's so
Well-
sad about his family. Like just
And I mean, listen, like he wasn't innocent, like in the sense that like he did cheat on his wife
Yes,
when they were
yes.
together, and he let his alcoholism affect his job, and it resulted in him killing at least 2 patients. Like,
100%.
Yes.
dude's a piece of shit, in my opinion. But does he deserve to be charged for this crime?
Or have that stain, quote, as his
Right.
son
Right.
put it. Yeah.
Absolutely not. No. And like, yeah, I think it's, in my opinion, I think it's pretty obvious that he's not responsible for this. When you said that he got a concussion and a cervical injury, I was like, you can't really self-inflict something like that. Like
Yeah,
that would be
too
really
risky. Yeah.
That'd be well,
So
it's also just very
awkward.
difficult. How do
Yeah.
you give yourself a cervical spinal cord injury? Like
I
honestly,
can't even
I don't
massage
even
my neck when it's sore on its own. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Also,
how
it
you
would
do
make
that?
sense as to why his memory is so fuzzy about it. Like, I don't
Sure.
know if it was a person. I know it was a white form in front of me, but if you have a concussion, your brain is like, you know, you don't see things clearly in your memory.
I was really
Right.
hoping that there was going to be more evidence towards the Yeti
For a
theory,
Yeti.
but I'm happy that we got the information that we did. Rather,
Yeah, when you said it was a healthcare crime and then you introduced the doctor first, that
Mhm.
was in my brain. So that was really smart. That was in my brain of like, okay, it's going to be him. It's going to be him.
Right.
And then you turned it and it was like the window washer took care of sick people and, was it his dad that had a stroke?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was just a smart little twist there
Yeah.
for sure.
And as a doctor, he did kill 2 patients still, even though I don't think he killed his wife, Sam Shepherd.
Right.
yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
gotta
a
look
lot
at
of healthcare crime in here.
absolutely
Twists, turns. That was a wild one.
possible.
glad you
cryptids,
hadn't
we're
heard
not
of it.
sure. Oh my
Yeah, no,
God.
I had not heard that. When you said Dr. Shepard, I was like, why does that sound familiar? And then my brain went McDreamy, and I was like,
Yes.
wait.
Yes.
This is just a story that Sierra wrote, really.
Yeah. A lot of people still think that he's guilty. Like I said, his blood DNA was not found of what they had left anyway to test. Somebody else's blood was there.
You
Maybe
could
his
argue
was too,
motive,
but-
but the MO being the same in other crimes that he wasn't
Mhm.
even related to, plus the fact that there's no physical evidence there, I just
Yeah. If you
That's
go
right,
on Murderpedia, which is like one of my favorite
Yeah.
websites, and you look up Richard Eberling, it calls him a serial killer with 5 victims, one of them being Marilyn, even though he was only ever charged with Ethel's. So
Ah.
technically,
Still-
he's not a serial killer.
Yeah.
He technically is responsible for one death, but most people believe he killed 5 people.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, when they said that the dad had a stroke and then consumed poison, I was like, pardon me?
That's
No.
right. Yeah.
Casual Tuesday, some
Yeah.
poison.
Yeah. One does not simply drink poison on their own volition.
No.
Wow.
That sucks.
Great job.
Yeah, great job.
Thanks.
Health, and thank you for choosing this topic, Kaydra.
Mhm.
'cause then she
So
Absolutely.
you're in healthcare.
Yes, me and Alicia were talking about that earlier on the Zoom. So I'm a speech pathologist. I work with adults and outpatient.
Oh,
So I do
that's
a
so
lot
cool.
of brain injury, stroke, Parkinson's, dementia, rehabilitation. I have worked with a Wernicke's encephalopathy patient. So when
Mhm.
you started saying that, I was like, oh, I know I've
I was
had
like,
it.
how do you just rifle that off? Like,
Yeah, it's basically like a language and cognitive disorder caused by brain damage, which is like right in my scope of
it-
practice.
if I remember correctly, it's when you can think about what you want to say, but you can't say it. Like your brain can't get the speech part out, but they can write
Yeah.
it usually.
Yeah, Wernicke's is like a type of aphasia, which is a
Yeah.
language disorder. And in Wernicke's, they have like listening comprehension issues too. So like it's
Yeah.
hard for them to understand what you're saying. And then also when they talk, they think they're making sense, but it doesn't make any sense. So it's actually really hard to treat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's such a cool day job. And then tell our twisted humans about your night job or your other job with the podcast.
Oh, sure. Yeah. So I host Perplexity Mystery Podcast. It is a solo gig. It's just me, baby, unless I have a guest on. But I've been doing it since December 2022. And I talk about all things mysterious. So if you love Alicia and Sierra, you'd probably like me. I don't know.
You will definitely like her. Go and check her out.
I'm on everything, pretty much. I have a YouTube channel as well if you prefer videos. But yeah, all podcast platforms, and I would love to have you.
Love it.
Yay.
Well, that was a crazy episode. I don't even know how to like leave this podcast now. To put you on the spot a little bit, Kaydra, we do like to end with something happy or something we're grateful for or something we're looking forward to because we
Daily
bookend
gratitude.
positivity on this podcast, okay?
I love that. No, that's awesome.
So before we roll on out of here, do you want to tell the folks something you are thankful for or something you're looking forward to?
Absolutely. Well, I was telling Alicia earlier, I've had a very long week, so I'm looking forward to having a day off tomorrow. And
Heck
then
yeah.
on Friday, I'm having a game night with some friends. So definitely excited about that.
Love it.
Nice. I also have a day off tomorrow, so I'm really excited about that too. And this weekend, I get to go down to Florida and have some fun. So I'm excited.
That is fun.
Nice. I am super excited about an upcoming cousin date that I have. I'm going to the island on March 2nd, and we're going to do pedicures and lunch and just hang out. So yeah, we will see you guys next Tuesday for our serial killer. That's right, we are restarting, and trust me when I say you aren't ready.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry again.
So we will see you guys then. And in the meantime, keep
it twisted.
Twisted and Uncorked is a proud member of Weirding Way Media. Hosted and produced by Sierra Zorn and Alicia Watson. If you like the show, don't forget to leave a 5-star rating and review wherever you are listening now. It really is the best way to spread the word. You can check out all things Twisted on our website, twistedanduncorked.com, and we will see you next Tuesday for a brand new episode.